Hey folks, this is Vincent Adderley with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly review and talk about Stardew Valley. This is a game that you can find on Steam for about 15 bucks. You can play this solo, you can play it cooperatively. This is a game that has been released, I want to say 2016-ish, and I myself have about 230 hours, and Adderley here has also about 230 hours or so. You can create a character, male or female, and you can also choose your starting farm. And this wasn't available way back when. They're continuously updating this game, which is fantastic. But there are, I want to say, about 8 different farms that you can choose between as your starting farm. Each one has like positives and negatives. One of them's, I think, completely balanced all around. You can even set some advanced game options, like how many starting cabins you have for multiplayer. Like if you foresee someone joining your game in the future, you can spawn with an extra cabin so that they have a house to immediately move into, rather than having to build it after the fact. I really like that. You can also get an in-game pet in this game almost right away. You can choose either a dog or a cat, I think it is. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, the idea of this game is you are this farmer who has inherited, is it your grandfather's farm?
Yes.
And I get my farmer sims confused sometimes because there's just so many of them. But ideally, you're trying to make money, you're trying to make friends, and you're also trying to complete these community goals, which you'll see in a little bit. And what's cool about Stardew Valley is that you can take these things at whatever pace you want. When you wake up, there are 4 seasons in this game, like there are in real life, and you can wake up one morning, just do a bunch of foraging if you want to. Just go around the beach and collect things. You could instead go to the mine shaft and mine out some ore, which you need to upgrade your standard tools. You could go fishing. Fishing is a pain in the butt in this game because there's a little mini game associated with that, but it is lucrative in terms of money if you catch the right fish and upgrade your equipment that way. You could go around chopping trees and mining rocks, collecting standard resources so that you can construct buildings and add them to your farm in the future. So you can kind of like pick and choose what you want to specialize and do that day. Even just go around talking to people, because that's not something I like to do because I'm an introvert by default, but you actually get gifts from people in this game if you bother to level up your relationship levels with them. And you can even marry one of them too if you want to. But again, primarily what you're trying to do is there's this community center and there are these bundles that you're trying to complete. And to complete a bundle, you have to submit resources to it. Might be, submit this particular fish type for this bundle, submit this quality crop for this bundle, donate so much money for this bundle, and you're trying to completely rebuild the community center by, I think it's year 3. What's nice is that you can opt not to do it by year 3, but I think you get the better ending if you do complete it by year 3. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mhm. I
Okay.
think I think it's I've never actually been able to do it, but I heard that something special happens, and I don't know if I want to spoil it or not.
Yeah, let's not spoil it, because
Uh,
I should note that I'm trying to keep this particular video as spoilery free as possible. It's not going to happen sometimes because there's just so much to do in this game.
mhm.
But yeah, I'm trying not to show you, like, because you can actually visit other locations outside of the main map. But
Yeah.
again, how you get there, I'm not going to spoil it too much. But anyway, so yeah, you're trying to complete all these bundles by year 3, and there's a major corporation called JojaMart, which is kind of like the Walmart of this game, and they're trying to run out all the mom and pop stores, and by completing the community bundle, you're sort of guaranteeing that the mom and pop stores stick around, that kind of thing. But so I guess there's what, 2 endings possibly, like a good ending, bad ending. Like you can side with
Um,
JojaMart.
yeah. There's a side with JoJamar, or there's Fix the Community Bundle.
Okay.
Um thing. But and there's also really interesting cutscenes that, like, for example, if you actually romance every single person in the game, there's a quote unquote ending that you get if you enter the tavern. And it's really funny because everyone gets mad at you and like accuses you of, cheating on everyone. But and then there's a way to surpass that. It's really interesting, the kinds of cutscenes that you do get. And
hmm
I don't. I can't I can't really consider it endings because this game could go on forever. Like, you can play this game to your heart's content.
Hmm. It's just a matter of finding all the different interactions in the game, all the different secrets.
Yeah.
Like I typically find the secrets involving economic growth. Like I
Hmm.
love mining. I'm usually the first one down to the bottom of the mine shaft, and I get some really cool stuff because I do it.
Hmm.
Whereas you talk to people, you befriend them, you give them gifts,
Hmm.
and you get stuff in the mail. And as you build relationships with each of the different villagers, if you arrive at a certain location at a certain time or whatever, typically there's a cutscene like you were saying, and something cool happens. Um,
Yeah, and it's actually kind of hard to get those cutscenes sometimes, and you kind of have to look up, like, where am I supposed to meet this person at this specific time in this specific location, after like how many hearts, how many relationship levels, so it's kind of like you can either look it up and solve it you can either look it up and solve it, or you can just solve it yourself. So I don't know. It's
mhm.
it's really interesting that way.
It depends on how much you don't want to rely on outside information. And
Yeah.
this is the part where I think it's going to be different with everybody. Like I
Hmm.
personally don't want to have to wiki or Google things.
Hmm.
Which is why I use mods. Another quality of life mod that we use, there's an automation mod where you can put chests next to crafting machines, and they will
Hmm.
automatically pull from nearby machines and also deposit next to nearby machines. So rather than me having to deposit ore manually into these furnaces every day or every couple of hours, the mod automatically does it for me. And I do
Hmm.
believe there's equipment that you get by default in vanilla later in the game that does this automatically, but I just find it's just, again, it's a quality of life thing. I want to spend more time playing the game than I want to be fighting the UI to do things that I want to do, if that makes any
Hmm.
sense.
It
Um,
does. That it kind of leads me back to the time in the game. Like I wish I could enjoy actually going around and doing things that I want to do, but then when it starts to get nighttime, I feel like I have to rush back home, and I do that quite often in the game, and I wish I didn't have to do that. There is a time mod that we did not get, but it's actually kind of cool. It has three different speeds. It can either go really, really slow, or normal, or really, really fast. And I believe there's even a pause button, although that's kind of cheaty.
wow, so you can pretty much like get to the bottom of the mine shaft day one, like I
Yeah,
guess. I mean,
basically.
that's crazy.
I
Uh,
I like that, but yeah, no.
I do agree that time does go by, in my opinion, too quickly.
Hmm.
Like I'll be like trying to, like in the mine shaft, it saves every 5 levels. Trying to get down 5 levels within the time frame of one day is difficult because you have to start
Exactly.
heading home by like 9, because it takes a couple of hours to walk all the way home from the mine shaft unless you get a horse later on, or
Hmm.
you fix the cart later on and can fast travel near to your house. But it's still like you have to manage your time in this game, and if you don't, you'll fall asleep or pass out outside of your house, and you have to pay a fee typically,
Hmm.
which is valuable in this game. Like you plant crops, you earn money by selling them, or you can pretty much sell anything in this game. But then if you pass out, that's just wasted money, and all that
Yeah.
work is down the drain. So there's a lot of not only is there resource management, but there's also a lot of time management in this game too.
Yeah.
There are
That's
some
why.
events that only come up once a year, so you have to
Hmm.
plan around them.
That's why I rush the horse and the mine carts as soon as possible, just so I can get to places quicker. And yeah, it can be a little tough.
Hmm. No, we recently just played the board game. I haven't published the video yet, but we recently played the
Mhm.
board game and spent 2 hours on that. Do you still prefer the video game over the board game? Just to sort
Absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely.
There's just more content.
There is, and I prefer the art too over the board game, only because I know what they look like in the video game. So like I feel their personality in the video game a little bit more than I do in the board game,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes any sense. I
No, it does.
mean, I sort of see their personality in the board game too is just um more noticeable in the video game, I guess. It's hard to
Well,
explain.
in the video game, when you're talking to them, their mannerisms can change. Like you can physically see their facial features. Like
Yeah.
Abigail will smile, sometimes she'll frown. Whereas in a
Hmm.
board game, it's the same card. It's just
Yeah.
the same art. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
there's more character emotion in the
Yeah.
video game. There's more programmed in.
And here's a question for you. How many playthroughs have you played in Stardew Valley?
The video game I've
Yeah.
played, I want to say 3.
Okay.
The first playthrough was without any mods,
Uh-huh.
and I think I beat the game in like 4 years, something like that.
Hmm.
And then the second playthrough was like a year or two ago,
Hmm.
and that was with mods, and I think I beat it like I want to say either year one or like the beginning of year two, something like that.
Oh,
And
really? Okay.
yeah, it was real quick because like I was able to get a lot of things quickly. Um,
Okay.
but it's because I didn't
Did you?
talk to anybody. I just
Yeah.
concentrated on,
I
I did
see.
the bundles as soon as I could. Like I
I see.
prioritized them. Whereas in our playthrough, I'm playing a bit more casually because I don't care.
Yeah.
I just want to do everything and have fun. I don't want to have to complete these bundles on the first year, which,
Hmm.
I'm letting you pretty much take care of that. Um, so yeah, Stardew Valley, the video game, it's huge, and like I said, the developer is still, I want to say, updating this game. Like they recently introduced, was it Rain? It was like Green Rain or something like that, which does
Yeah.
something really cool to the trees. And they even add, I mean, in addition to regular quests that you get from Pierre's message board or whatever. There's another separate bulletin board that features like two different quests on it, and you have to pick and choose which one you do. They're like major quests that you have to do in like 5-6 days, something like that. But typically, like you get a huge reward for doing those. So I love how much they've added to the game over time. I still don't understand why they don't add like they look. I wish they would look at some of the mods that are out there and just add them to the game because it makes sense, in my opinion. But do you find the community bundles in this game difficult to complete? The only ones I find difficult really are like finding a particular fish, which you can find in the rain
Yeah.
at night. You know what I mean? During the
Yeah.
season, like that's a pain in the butt. Other
That
than, yeah.
that's why I'm so grateful for the look up anything mod, because if there's a fish there that seems like it's really hard to get, you can just click on it and see exactly what time it comes.
Hmm.
And and I remember, oh man, I remember the days where I had to go on the internet every single time with anything. I had to wiki every single fish. Oh, it was so time consuming.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
that gets me back to the immersion bit. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to be in
Mhm.
the mines and I'm farming, having fun, getting lost in a video game, only to hell tab back to real life to look something up. That's just
Yeah.
not fun to me. You know.
Hmm. And I love that this is multiplayer. The only thing is that like when you first start more multiplayer, you can pick how many people that plays with you. But if you pick two, it'll give you two extra houses. So you're already counted as a person. So it would probably make sense. Oh, well, what did you pick? Like what was
So
the setting?
so just to not correct you, but just to
No,
sort
no,
of
absolutely correct me.
so in the advanced settings, you
Hmm.
can choose how many extra log cabins get put down.
That's right, yeah.
So I picked one extra one. So that spawned 3 houses. The main one that we had and then two extra ones. That way if say Vinny got the game later, my son got the game later and wanted to join us, he could just do it. So I set the game on like I don't know how many players it was, but I think I let it support up to like 8 players or 4 players, something like that. And then I just chose
Mhm.
how many extra houses.
Okay, okay. It's very interesting the way
Yeah.
that happened.
No, that's cool. What do you like about Stardew Valley? Like, what's your favorite thing? Like, what is your opinion of it?
I love that the map is static because these types of games, I don't like the look of these types of games. It to me it kind of seems a little amateurish. The graphics, I hate pixel graphics, but this is so nice because it just takes place in a town, and you actually get to form relationships with people, and you're in the same place, and you actually you can you can actually memorize where you are and where to go, whereas other RPG games that have this type of top-down pixely feature, you can't really, like, it's harder to memorize it.
Hmm.
And I don't know, this is such a cozy game. You can do so much stuff in it. It is insane how many things you can do, and it's a grind, and I love a good grindy game. Uh,
Yeah.
and there's just so much to do in this game.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, like if you just want to farm, you can just farm.
Hmm.
Like if you
Yeah.
just want to focus on farming for your entire playthrough, you're not going to you're not going to complete any bundles that way because you have to fish to complete some of the bundles. You have to go to the mine shaft to complete some of the bundles. But
Hmm.
you could, if you just wanted to ignore the bundles and play the game whatever the way you want to, you could
Hmm.
just farm if you want to. But I would encourage you to do everything. There's 5 different skills, and as you level up, as you do these things, farming, mining, foraging, fishing, and whatever else the other one was, as you do these things, you level them up, and you actually get to choose a particular ability at levels 5 and 10. So
Hmm.
you can actually get stronger that way. And you unlock more crafting recipes as you play too. Stronger watering sprinklers, for example, or there's so many different like books that you can find in this game. You can read them and get a passive benefit. So if you're one of those completionists that have to unlock everything in some kind of achievement, encyclopedia area, then you can do that. There's even a museum where you can donate items to. So if you're again a completionist, you could totally do that. Um, the game does have accessibility options. I have my UI set to a larger setting because I have trouble seeing, so that is in the game as well. For $15, again, I have 230 hours of playtime in this game so far. That's totally worth it. The playtime is there, the content is there, and co-op. You can play solo definitely, but it's just much more fun to play co-op with other people, especially with like someone that you just game with and get along with on a regular basis. I can mine one day and your friend can farm or vice versa. Whatever you want to do.
Hmm.
There's so much potential to this game and different ways to, you can move buildings around on your farm even. So you can make different designs and you can get a lot of animals. Or again, you can just concentrate on farming and making a bunch of money that way. It's completely up to you. And I
You can
think,
decorate. Sorry,
mhm.
just to add on, you can decorate to your heart's content. There's actually quite a bit of decorations to craft and to unlock. You can even marry people and have babies with them.
Yeah.
Pledge families.
hmm if anyone has played Harvest Moon for like say Super NES, GameCube, whatever, there's a lot of Harvest Moon games out there. If you liked
Hmm.
Harvest Moon, you'll love this game. It's Harvest Moon times, 15, 20. Like Harvest
Hmm.
Moon lets you run like an animal farm kind of thing and marry people typically. But this game does all of that and a whole lot more. And again, the
Yeah.
developer is continuing to add to it, even after all these years. And that's very impressive to me. So, do I recommend this game? Absolutely. And I 100% think that Ida Lee is going to recommend it too.
Oh, absolutely. We still haven't unlocked everything that we want to unlock yet, so we still have to keep playing.
Oh, yes, we do. In between all the
Mhm.
other games that we play, we totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just be prepared for a time sink if you do play this game. Yes, it's casual and all, but there is a time sink. You can get lost in it very easily, and that's
Mhm.
not necessarily a bad thing unless you work a lot. All right, well there you go, folks. That was Stardew Valley, the video game. Highly recommend from both of us. Go check it out. Again, $15 on Steam. But hey, if you want to wait for a sale, then by all means do so. This is Vincent Adeli. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all next time. Take care.
Bye, guys.